All right. So again, these are some rational exponents with the examples. I'm going to clear the ink right here so we can look at another one. Okay, so if you scroll down to the bottom, this is another representation of how you represent exponents to radicals. I wrote the names out explicitly, like you have the exponent right there, right? Now, in case of a whole number exponent, okay, so this means that you're getting the cube root. You're getting the cube root of the answer that we used to have or we used to solve for, right? So when you go 2 to the third power, it's equal to 8. So if you're going to write that in a radical expression, you're actually trying to find the cube root of 8. So 8 becomes the radicand. All right, so how is that different from the first one we saw? Earlier, it was a fractional exponent, right? So if it's a fractional exponent, you can think of this as, that burger, in and out, right? So the numerator goes in, the denominator goes outside and becomes the index. I learned that from my students in the past. They said it makes them memorize it easier. So in and out. Okay. So if it's not a fractional exponent, if it's just a whole number, okay, it becomes the index of the radical. Okay? So we read this as the third root of 8. The third root of 8. Okay. All right. And we call the answer, of course, the root because we're getting the third root of 8, which is 2. Okay? All right. Now, sometimes you can also write the power, which is the answer, okay, using a fractional exponent, like this one. Okay? So remember, if you're raising it to an exponent, the answer must be bigger because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. But if you're trying to find the root, let's say the third root, you're trying to make the number smaller. Okay? So when you rewrite the cube root of 8, it actually looks like 8 raised to 1/3. Because remember the pattern that I gave you earlier? In over out, or numerator over denominator. So the number inside is 1 and the number outside is 3. So up over down, or numerator over denominator. Okay, so let's look at some more important concepts and then we're going to look at examples. Now, sometimes, do you remember when we have equations, an equation can have one, two, or many or no solutions at all. So same is true for square roots, cube roots, and stuff like that. Okay, so if the number inside is positive and the index is even, let's say for example, square root, fourth root, sixth root, we're expecting two real answers or two real roots. But if the exponent is odd, let's say the cube root of, oops, what did I do? Let's say the cube root of a negative number, okay, or the fifth root of a certain number, there's only one answer. And of course, it's also possible for it to not have any answer at all. Okay, we will see more of that as we look at examples. Okay, so this is the calculator that I was talking to you about. We're going to use this during Zoom, so we have like a common, way to illustrate stuff. So click on that. I wish I could use it side by side, but no, it's big. Okay, so for our first example, find the indicated real nth root of A. So what does that mean? Let's rewrite it first. I think it's easier if you're going to write this on your notebook. So we're finding the root. So that tells you have to write it with a radical. Yeah? Okay, how do we know what number goes inside and what number goes outside? So since you're getting the nth root, that's going to go outside. That will be your index. Index. Okay, so you put the 3 right here. And then the A was like the base, which now turns into a radicand. So we're going to put that inside, negative 27. Okay, so how do we use our calculator? Let's go to the calculator, cube root of negative 27. All right. Okay, let's try positive 27 first. Okay, let's try positive 27 first. Okay, let's play around with your new calculator. So let's say we want the nth root. You see that one? Right? I had to click on that one. We're finding the third root. So you see the 3 went outside. And then inside we want negative 27. But let's try 27 first, okay? Let's try 27 because I want to show you an example for positive. And then your answer shows on the right. Can you type in the chat what answer you see? If you also got that in your calculator. Very good. Okay, nice. If you have your own scientific calculator, definitely you can also use that. But yeah, online we're going to use this. So we have like a common way to do stuff. Okay, now let's put a negative in the 27. Let's make it negative. Put a minus sign. What answer came up? Negative 3. Very good. Okay, so if it's positive 3 because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. But if it's negative, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 times negative 3 will give you negative 27. Does that make sense? Okay, so don't get confused. We're still doing the exponents, but in a backwards way. They gave us the answer already. Okay, that's cool. Now, is it possible for something to not have an answer? Well, let's try. If I put 29 here, do you think there will be an answer? So there is an answer, but it's not a whole number. It's not a whole number. Yeah? And when they say write the answer in simplest radical form, it means you can't use a decimal. You're just going to leave it like that, cube root of negative 29. It's like when you just leave a variable alone. Okay? Now, can you give me a number that has a cube root? Give me a number that has a cube root. Meaning, it's the answer when you multiply a certain number. 8, very good, 3 times. Yes, 8 is 2. What else? Give me another one. Give me another one. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Give me another one. What other numbers have cube roots? How do you find one? Think of a number. You multiply that number 3 times by itself and give me the answer. That answer will have a cube root. 64. Let's try 64. The cube root of 64 is, you see the answer showing up over there? It's 4. Is there a way I can like make this smaller? I don't know. It's just too big. Sorry. Oh yeah. Okay, it should make it smaller like that. All right. Anyway. Oh, I took it out. Okay. I don't know. Mommy, the father is started with the KNC. Okay, baby. Bobby is working. Oops. Huh? No, see, I lost my calculator. Okay, I found it. Okay. All right. Can you guys 125? Okay. 125. 125. There you go. So the cube root is 5. So do you kind of get what we're doing now? No. Change it to negative. 125. Yeah, negative 125. The answer would also be negative 5. Okay? Alright, let's try square root. So erase, 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 erase. Delete that. Let's try square root. Let's try this. Okay. So see if it's square root, it doesn't put that 2 outside anymore, right? It's automatic. Okay, give me a number that has a square root. I'm going to start, let's say, 9. So the square root of 9 is 3. Yes? Huh? Okay. Oh, go ask Daddy. Now, can you guys give me another number that has a square root? Sorry. She said she couldn't see her screen. I don't know. Anyway, okay. 16. There you go. The square root of 16 is 4. 4. Yep. The square root of 4 is 2. Okay. Alright. Are you getting it now? Okay. Actually, if you click on enter, you can have another entry right here if you guys want to. Yeah. Square root of 25. There you go. So you can save some of your previous calculations. Okay. So let's go back to our OneNote. The second one we're doing here. Okay, I'm gonna make that smaller. So the second one that we're using here is the fourth root of 16. Fourth root of 16. So let's do that. Okay. All right. So if we're going to write that down, let me erase all this. It's going to be the fourth root outside, right? Of 16. So we're looking for, this actually means you're looking for that number, right? Such that when you raise it to the 4, or when you multiply it by itself 4 times, you're going to get 16. So we're going to find this number over here. Okay, go ahead. Use your decimals calculator and find. Hi, Dwight. Yes, Dwight, 36 is or also has a square root. That's good. I didn't see that previously. Okay, so find me that fourth root of 16. Okay, so go ahead and practice using your calculator. Giselle got it already, and Alyssa. Okay, that's good. So the fourth root of 16 is equal to 2. All right, so the answer here is 2. And Nico. Okay, very good, you guys. Okay, let's try to find more examples. Let's go to the bottom. If you already know what you're doing, don't wait for me if I'm taking a long time. Okay, here we go. You guys will use your calculator to do this. Game, game, game. Start now. You're going to evaluate means use your calculator to find the value. Today's lesson is easy, huh? Okay. All right, what's the answer to the first one? It's the cube root of -8. It's the cube root of -8. So you're going to use this. Cube root of -8. Are you getting the same answer? -2? Yes, good job. Oh, be careful with the other one. This time, you get the negative of cube root of 8. So how will you answer that? You're getting the cube root of +8, but you have to make it negative. Okay, so what's your answer? So see what I did? Yeah? So I know I wish our handheld calculators can do that, right? But definitely if you have a handheld calculator, you just have to get the cube root of 8 and then you just put the negative in your head later on, right? Okay, so the answer to number 2 or letter B is -2. Okay. Oh, now look at letter C. Look at letter C. How are you going to write that with a square root? So for letter C, remember what we said earlier? The base becomes the radicand, right? And then if it's a fraction, this is the numerator, this is the denominator. So think of the burger in and out. So inside goes 1, outside goes 4. Does that make sense? So that's how you're going to type it in your calculator. You're going to get the fourth root. If it's a 1, it doesn't actually make any change. So in your calculator, you're going to get the fourth root of 16. And can you tell me if there is an answer to that? What's the fourth root of 16? Positive 2. Very good. Positive 2. Okay. Now earlier we said that it can have one answer or two answers or three answers. Now, or no answer at all. Your calculator only shows the positive root, But if this is even, if this is even, and this is positive, it can actually have two possible answers. So you answered here positive 2, right? It can actually also be negative 2. Why? Because when you multiply four negatives, it will also become positive. Yeah, so strictly speaking, there's two possible answers, but our calculators only show, we call it the principal or the primary root. Principal or primary root. Okay. Oh, letter D. Let me see how or what your calculator shows on that one. Go ahead. Did you try that one? So if you write that in your calculator, remember the base is negative 16 in versus out. So in goes 1, 4 goes out. Undefined. Very good. So in other words, it won't have an answer. Why? Because this means you're finding a number, right? Such that when you multiply it by itself, it becomes negative 16, right? But if it's 2, that's going to be positive 16. If it's negative 2, it will also become positive 16. So there is no way the answer is going to become negative, right? Okay, that's cool. So let's erase that. Here we go. If you're using your handheld calculator, it will most likely show the letter E for error. E for error. Okay, now what if the numerator now is bigger than 1? So earlier we learned how to rewrite it if it's like 1/3, 1/4, right? But what if it's now, if the numerator now is greater than 1? Okay, so let's try that. So 16 raised to the 3/4 can actually be written as, remember the base goes inside as a radicand, then the pattern in and out. So this will be in and out. Oh, why am I was about to write the word out. That's so silly. Okay, there you go. And remember, this is also the same as you get the fourth root of 16, and then whatever that is, you put the exponent outside. Okay, which I told you earlier, I personally prefer, because if I don't have a calculator, this may be challenging, right? But this one will make the number smaller first before you raise it to a power. So I personally prefer putting the exponent outside the parentheses. Okay, so in your calculator, how are you going to do this? Oh, I need to write, but it's not showing. Okay, so in your calculator, you have to get the fourth root of 16 first. Can you tell me what the answer is when you get the fourth root of 16? Or you can also do it in your head. Like by now, you kind of get the pattern. Okay, so what number when you multiply it by itself 4 times gives you 16? So what's the fourth root of 16? Ignore the 3 first. Okay. So ignore the 3, use fourth root of 16. Very good. So fourth root of 16 is 2, right? And then you're going to bring down the power. So now you're going to raise that to an exponent. So what would your answer be? Let me illustrate that in the calculator as well. Okay, so I get the fourth root of 16. There you go. Okay. And then after that, okay, you can do answer and then to the third power. There you go. Did you see how I did it? If you click answer, it will enter the last answer that you did. Okay. I'm not sure if, okay, let me delete this one. If I delete this, is there a parentheses here? I just can't see one. Because if there is a parentheses, maybe we can put that in parentheses and then raise that to the third power. You see, it will also give you the same answer. Am I making sense? Okay, if you're using your handheld calculator, you gotta do it in steps. Like you have to get the fourth root of 16 first, whatever that is, you're gonna raise it to the third power. Okay? The good thing about this decimals here is you can combine multiple steps. When you take your SAT though, when you're taking um, SAT, college entrance exams, etc., definitely you still have to learn how to use your handheld calculator. Okay, but there's no way I can show you that now that we are in Zoom. So yeah, so that will be your little homework. Yeah, you have to figure out how to do this in your own calculator. I tried another way and it worked. I found what's 16. Yeah, you can do that too. So you go 16 to the third power, right? And then whatever that is, you get the fourth root of that. So fourth root of 4096. Yeah, so you'll get the same answer. Thank you, Nyla. Um, that's what I was trying to, you know, point at earlier when I said these two are the same. So the one that Nyla did was she got 16 to the third power first, and then she got the fourth root of that. So, however, Nyla, I was saying if I don't have a calculator and I'm taking, let's say, an SAT, I'm not gonna waste my time doing like, 16. Because in the SAT, there's a calculator part and there's a non-calculator part. Yeah, so if you don't, or if you're not allowed to use a calculator, this may be challenging because you're gonna multiply 16 by itself 3 times. Does that make sense? So sometimes it's kind of easier to get the fourth root first before you cube it. Okay, so it depends on the number. But both of these would work. So the correct answer here is 8. Okay? All right, let's move on. Let's clear that ink and let's move on to the next one. Okay, do the next example right here. All right, and then after that, we're gonna go to Schoology and do some practice. All right, so the 27 goes inside the radical. Can you tell me what the index is? What is my index? Can you type in the chat what my index is? The index is the root that we're trying to get. So is it third root or fourth root? Very good, Giselle. We're getting the third root. Very good. Okay. And then whatever answer you get, you raise it to the power 4. Or you can also do Nyla's method, which is you you raise 27 to the fourth power first before you get its cube root. So whichever works for you, the answer will be the same. Okay. Go ahead. Give me the answer. 12? We should try again. But I kind of see where your 12 is coming from. Like you got a 3 for this, right? And then you multiply it to the 4. But you don't multiply it to the 4, honey. You have to raise it to the fourth power. Meaning you're going to do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Uh-huh. Yep. So what would that be? Let's try again. 81. There you go. 81. Uh-huh. All right. Okay, so for your homework, you're gonna do the puzzle at the bottom. Why did the mother skunk take her baby to see the doctor? And on this page, you will also see like additional or enrichment examples. Enrichment right here at the bottom. Simplifying. Yeah, I'll try to go over it. I will go over that with you next time. Maybe this. Yeah, the 4 questions here. And then these are just some, enrichment examples if you want to. These are optional though. Okay. All right. So now let's go to Schoology. In Schoology, you will see two things. You will need your calculators, you guys. Okay. So you will see simplifying radicals and simplifying rational expressions. There's like 7 questions each. So I'm not sure if it's, maybe I need to enable it, set up. Okay, hang on. Can you work on it? Not yet, huh? Okay, just refresh your browsers. Okay, refresh your browsers and do simplifying radicals. So start new attempt, and that what you're going to do is, like, these are the questions. You have to use your calculator to figure those out. You gotta enter your answers over here. Let's say, what's your answer to number 1? What's your answer to number 2? And so on. Okay. All right, can you work on that now? Game. 7 minutes. There's only 7 questions, and you're using your calculator. Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to make sure your attendance is in. If you finish, let me know so I can enable the other one as well, because there's like 2 of them. I'm going to open the other one for you so you can also get started on that one. Okay. Did you get all points? Okay, Yay! Good job! Okay, let me enable this one. Okay. So for the second one, this one should be easy too. Yeah, you have one attempt. This time it's the one with fractions. Yeah. So you're getting the something root, like the 4th root, the 6th root, and stuff like that. Okay, so do the same thing, and then you're gonna write or type in the answers at the bottom. Okay. Just refresh your browser because I just enabled it right now. So the non-negotiables for today are these 2 in Schoology. Okay, you gotta do this. Some of you did not finish, I think, one Schoology work the other time, and I already put zeros in them. Okay, so please make sure that you go back. I need help. I'm still confused on simplifying radicals. Okay, so on the first one, Brian, right? Okay, hang on. Let me open that here, honey, so I can show you. Okay, which one, which one? Which number? Number 3. Number 3. Okay, so in your calculator, you're just gonna get the cube root of. Do I have a cube root here? No. Okay, so we're gonna get the cube root of 1331. There you go. Does that make sense? You can take a tissue box with you, honey. Okay. Hi, Giselle A. How are you, honey? Yeah, I thought of you today. Like I didn't see you and Nick also. So actually, I actually recorded my screens today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to like put a link, maybe if not in Schoology, in your OneNote notebook. Yeah. So you can bless you. So you can watch the screencast of today's lesson. Right now they're working on simplifying radicals in Schoology. hmm And let me mark you present also because there you go. I mark you absent. And we're missing Jessica today also. So if you text them, Jessica and Richard, let them know that I will post some links to the screencast today so they can follow as well. I need help with six. Which one? The first one? The choice or the second one? First or second? First, six. Okay. If there's no number here, it means it's the square root. Oh, now I remember. Somebody asked me earlier if there's no number, it's gonna be one, and then I said yes. I thought like you're talking about like the number inside. So if there's no number inside, it's one, but if there's no number outside, the default is it's two. Okay, so you're getting the square root, LaTroy. So instead of three, you're using two. Uh-huh. Okay. So that's what you're gonna enter in your calculator. So instead of, you're just gonna use this. You see that? You get the square root, and then you type in the number inside. hmm Okay. 10,000. There should be a whole number. Mm, All right. So while you're working on that, allow me to repeat your homework is you have to do the puzzle in your OneNote. It's right here. There you go. So this is your homework. All right.